So, for those of you who were following this Peter Attia guy, like even before the Epstein stuff, if you read that book and you got to that part in his story, when he told you that of his own volition, why did you, if you did it, why did you continue to support him and give him money? When he told you that thing he did, why? For those who are unaware, this man told a story in one of his books in which his wife was giving birth, but he was at work. Now, first red flag I have is why didn't you take the time off of work to go be with your wife when she was giving birth? Like, I don't know of any job that doesn't have some type of leave available, and I would hope they would have parental leave, but maybe all jobs don't. I don't know. Point is, why didn't you find a way to take the time off of work to go be with your wife? Why didn't you take the time from work to be with your wife when she was giving birth to your child? But if you want to argue that maybe it was something he had to do, okay, whatever. I don't buy it, but whatever. But then your wife calls you and tells you, hey, I'm in the ambulance because our child has undergone cardiac arrest. Apparently, they almost died. I believe these are words he said. Yes, I just checked. He did say his son nearly died. When she calls you from the ambulance and tells you that your son nearly died because he underwent, I guess, cardiac arrest or something, why didn't you then take the time to find your way back home? Because thought most people, when hearing of an emergency of such gravity, would find their way back home so they could be with their wife and child. If anything, for the wife, the mother of your children. Hell, for yourself. He literally could have just been going back home to go for his own even selfish interest, and it still would have been a better look. But he didn't do that. Instead, and he said he did not go back home until 10 days later. Now, when he told y'all that, why did y'all not immediately say, hey man, I cannot fuck with anything you got going on anymore? I don't give a fuck how apologetic he was, or you feel he was, or how. No, fundamentally no. That is not a character flaw that you can just come away from and be a better person from. I'm sorry. Understand that your child almost died. The mother of your children is likely distraught, and you decide that work is important and you're going to stay there and not go back home until 10 days after the fact. At that point, that's not a redeemable trait in anybody. I'm sorry. Like, even if it's hard for you, you should have been with the mother of your child. At any rate, so to me, that's an automatic disqualifier because what the fuck are you talking about? What type of person are you? I can't imagine doing that shit and then telling people I did that shit. Even if I did that shit, I would feel so bad about it. And I would not tell any of you motherfuckers at all from the guilt. This nigga has no guilt. I don't think he has any guilt. Real question. If you can fathom yourself doing some shit like that, you're telling me you wouldn't feel guilty? Or at least embarrassed? Let's just say you are something of a sociopath. Wouldn't you feel embarrassed at least? I would feel at least embarrassed. I would look crazy telling somebody that. But he told a bunch of people, put it in a book and sold it to you. And then a bunch of y'all was like, oh, he seems like such a changed man. Really? Now we find out some interesting shit. Your work was Jeffrey. We don't talk about Jeffrey often, but your work was with Jeffrey. Now, let's just say you were there legitimately. Let's say you were his doctor for some fucking reason. Who knows? Even if you were there to treat him, first of all, how long would that take? Why would it take that long? Because what the fuck are you doing? But let's just say it's a treatment plan that has a few days to it. That's still not 10 days. And even if it was, even if you came to treat me and I find out your son, I think it was a son, but they had a child. Your child almost died. Like, if you told me that, I would be like, oh my God, I will find another doctor. You should go be with your child. But even if, for whatever reason, you had this multi-day treatment plan and he wouldn't let you leave, like he threatened you or something, you still would have been able to be back home to be with your wife and child within a few days, right? But you didn't get back home until 10 days later. Now I gotta start asking fucking questions because that's weird. What the fuck were you doing that you couldn't get back home for 10 days? No, because what the fuck were you doing? You couldn't get back home for 10 days? That is crazy to me. You know how you ever pay a lot of money for a trip and let's say something happened. Like, let's say you got sick. You could cancel the trip. Let's say you have trip insurance and it's not going to cost you anything to cancel. You could cancel the trip, right? It's like it's not going to hurt you to cancel this trip. But then you're just like, nope, I paid for this trip. I spent all this time getting ready for this trip. Da 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 da. I'm going on this trip. Like, you're going on that trip come hell or high water, despite the fact you should be sitting your ass in the house. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was something that you had worked for to get to so desperately. Let's say this is the vacation of your dreams, and you worked so hard to get to this point, and now you can go on your vacation. Like, you worked so hard for this, you planned so long, you sacrificed, you did a whole bunch of stuff to get to this point, so you could do this one thing, and god damn it, you didn't give a fuck what happened to you. You could be dead, you could be dying, you could be sick, you could almost have a loved one die. you're still gonna find a fucking way to go on this goddamn trip. Because that's what it feels like to me. It was something you really wanted to do, and you've been working to do it for so fucking long. It didn't matter that your son was on his deathbed. You were gonna go do this thing. I wanna know what it was. I wanna know what it was. You know your child is coming. Children do not just appear. There is a pretty set schedule, give or take a month. You have the ability to plan it down damn near to the week. There is no reason for you to not be with your wife and child. And yet you were like, nah, I'm gonna go to work. Okay. Then you find out your child almost died. Your child almost died, and you decide you're not gonna go back home for 10 fucking days. That is crazy to me, dog. Even if I were to assume you were there doing legitimate business with that man, and we assume it took a few days for that business to transpire, you still would have been home earlier than 10 fucking days out. Why did you not go home? What the fuck were you doing for 10 days?